Now everything is calm. When the Taliban arrived, they encouraged us to go to the mosque. They sent letters signed by a religious scholar which said that we were to tell them if our neighbors or friends didn't go and pray at the mosque. And then they'd go and pay them a visit.
From food legislation to the frequency of prayers, the Taliban are involved in all aspects of daily lives. They even invite themselves for tea in the Siddiqui's living room. Najibullah never belonged to the movement, but a tragedy brought him closer to the Taliban. 8 years ago, Afghan and American forces attacked his house.
I didn't used to drink tea with the Taliban. I didn't care about supporting any side in the war. We civilians just want to study, educate our children, earn a living. And then the American and government soldiers came and showed their barbarity. They spread terror and sadness here under the pretense of fighting the Taliban.
You mean there were airstrikes?
Yes, airstrikes, and also they came into our house. They kicked the front door open and destroyed all our furniture. They were so cruel. They killed our children in their sleep. I lost 5 members of my family. All were children or students. At least the Taliban were born here. We know all of them. They live in our homes, our villages, our communities. And from them, we've never suffered any injustice.
According to an independent watchdog, Afghan forces supported by the U.S. Army are responsible for up to 1/3 of civilian victims of the conflict. This fuels a feeling of resentment and lends support to the Taliban's rhetoric that they are the defenders of the Afghan people against brutal foreign invaders and a dysfunctional state. Afghanistan is a mainly rural country. The development projects funded by the international community rarely reach the countryside. Year after year, Mohammed Wardaki's orchard suffers from drought.
These fields are fertile, but there's not enough water, so they dry up. No reservoir or dam was ever built here. I've yet to see any modernization projects in our area because of the war. Over here, I have apricot trees. They'll bear fruit soon. The apple trees haven't blossomed yet. This year, we were able to export our fruits to Pakistan, but usually we sell them in Kabul. The Taliban don't cause any problems. On the contrary, they even help out with my business. Here in the Taliban Emirate, you can travel by night or day. You can carry money without any worries. The danger lies mostly on the road to Pakistan. You know, the Taliban belong to this countryside. They know how to cultivate the land.
Each year, the Taliban collect 10% of the crops, a practice called oshar. It's an Islamic tax imposed on farmers, which the insurgents use to fund their activities.
It's a religious duty. I give between 27,000 and 30,000 Afghanis per year for oshar. It depends on the crops. If business is good, I pay more. If it's bad, I pay less.
30,000 Afghanis, that's 300 euros, a large sum in a country where half of the population lives under the poverty line. The size of the tax, like other laws, is determined here in the mosque. Today, this assembly of religious dignitaries and fighters have gathered to ban practices which they consider profane, like music during weddings. As women, we were not allowed to enter the mosque, but our translator was able to shoot some images of the meeting.
The ruling is adopted. All those who do not respect our decisions will be prosecuted.
In Afghanistan, this is what is known as the shadow government.
You and you. Over here. Follow me.
Maulawi Sabir is the Taliban district governor, one of the officials of this parallel state.
The Sharia, the Islamic law, applies to all, from the layman to the most powerful leader. That's how we administer justice. As far as the Taliban emirate reaches, the lives and belongings of people are safe. We are at war. But in the village, you'll see that we've implemented many projects. We have schools, agricultural programs, cool storage for the fruits and vegetables. And when we won't have any reason to fight anymore, the war will end, and we will develop this country in every domain.
After examining the bills, the Judicial Assembly gathers outside. In the areas they control, the Taliban have established local courts known for the rapid resolution of cases. The Afghan justice system is one of the most corrupt institutions in the country, so many Afghans, even some who live in government-held areas, seek the services of the Taliban tribunals.
Where are the files? Someone bring them to me.
Today, 3 men have been summoned by the judges. The first 2 are fighters accused of using their weapons in a civilian context.
So why did you fire in the air?
I didn't know it was forbidden.
Raise your voice. So you fired, but why? Were you celebrating?
Yes, I was celebrating a wedding.
Are you aware that you violated the rules of the emirate?
I didn't know about the rules. I'm new in this area and wasn't informed.
Well, we had distributed official letters to all the village elders. The commission has decided to disarm you because you disrupted public order. Firing in the air is forbidden. It scares our fellow residents. Do you agree that you have violated the rules of the Taliban emirate?
Yes, I confess.
You, why did you fire your weapon?
Because my friend had just returned from the front line.
So you were celebrating?
Yes,
Didn't you know that firing for no reason is forbidden?
I did, yes. I apologize for my actions and I will never do it again.
Okay, but we have ruled that you will be disarmed until further notice. Sir, please come forward.
The third man is accused of spending too much money on his son's engagement party, a punishable offense according to Taliban law.
What's your name?
My name is Haji Pashamir.
Do you know why you've been called to appear in front of the commission?
My son is a Taliban fighter, and I was celebrating his engagement.
Your son is a Taliban, not you.
Yes, but I was celebrating my son's engagement, and he's a Taliban.
Being a Taliban doesn't give him any additional rights. On the contrary, people like him or even myself should be punished even more severely than other people, because the Taliban's mission is to do jihad for the love of Allah. So if instead they cause problems for other people, or if they fail to prevent wrongdoing, then they should be punished very severely.
Yes, I agree with the witnesses. I don't deny that it ever happened. But originally, we'd only invited 6 people. Then the in-laws suggested that my son invite more people, more women. And my son agreed. I wasn't even there during the discussion, and now everything's on my shoulders. I know that we must abide by the law of the emirate. I love the emirate, and my son is a fighter of the emirate.
So what? Those 2 over there are fighters, and we've just disarmed them.
If it's proven that I've broken the law, I'm ready to be hanged rather than receive a lighter sentence.
You say that you're ready to accept any type of punishment?
Yes, I'm ready, but under one condition, that I'm not found guilty without proof.
Understood. We will continue our investigation.
Here, people are very poor, but they spend huge sums on their engagement parties and weddings. To fund these events, they often need to pawn their land, their garden. They go into debt. So the religious erudites and combatants of the emirate discussed this issue and concluded that people should spend less money. Because in Islam, according to Sharia, extravagance is a sin, and acts that go against Islam must be avoided.